Hello, 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 everyone. How's everyone doing on this wonderful, hot Sunday? Yes, it's Sunday, it's hot, but it's not very sunny outside, but the sun is going down. Welcome, welcome, welcome today to our live broadcast. We're talking about getting ready for our upcoming in-person live workshop called More Than a Mrs. So today we're just going to share with you a little bit about why we're doing this workshop, who's it for, and who we are. All right. So let's get started, everybody. Look, I want you to share in the chat. If you are a Mrs., put in the chat how many years you have been a Mrs., okay? So we want to know how many years have you been a Mrs.? So I'm Cynthia Green, your marriage and relationship visionary strategist and with Marriage Built to Last. And I have been a Mrs. Oh my gosh. In 2 months, it will be 18 years, 18 amazing years. Yes, 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 yes. So I am excited. I tell people I'm just a woman who is madly in love with her husband after all these years, after knowing him for over 40 years and being together as a couple for over 20. All right. So tonight I am doing this workshop with my co-host, my partner, Miss Lisa, and I am going to let Lisa just jump in and introduce herself.
Hey y'all, thank you Cynthia for inviting me on your channel. I so appreciate it. So I'm Lisa Daniels. I am the founder and CEO of Lionheart Society. I'll tell how long I've been a Mrs. So 19 years in October. To my husband, boyfriend, anyone who knows me, I always refer to Mr. Daniels as my boyfriend because I believe you still have to date your husband no matter how long you've been married to him. And so, yeah, I've been married for 19 years in October, and I'm excited. I'm madly in love with him as well. And our little boy, who's not a little boy anymore, but he's an incoming freshman at our local high school, one of our local high schools. So, yeah. So that's a little bit about me.
So I want to tell you guys what we are doing while we're here today. So Lisa and I both have a passion for marriage. We have a passion for relationships. We have a passion for people, our kids. Like we have a lot in common that we are passionate about, but we are also very passionate wives. We're passionate about our husbands. We're passionate about being a wife and being married, but we're also passionate about our own individual goals and passions in life and dreams and things that we have interest in. And we realize that a lot of women struggle with that. And so we wanted to offer something to wives to help them kind of sort out where they are now, where they want to be in the future, how we can support them, and just kind of help them work through some, I don't want to say challenges or struggles because it's not about that. Sometimes it's not about a challenge. It's not that we're struggling. It's just that, we might be in this place where we're not sure what direction we want to go in. We're not sure what our next move is. And so we're kind of here to help you navigate that space. And so the reason why I'm doing it is because I wanted to do something for the local wives here in my area, because I do a lot of things online. I do a lot of things all over the world, but I wanted to get connected with the wives here in my area that may need hands-on help. Mm-hmm. And so this is one of the reasons why I'm doing the workshop, why I connected with Lisa to help create it. And Lisa, I guess you're going to share why you're doing the workshop. What it means to you.
You've already talked about so many reasons why I echo that sentiment. Before we came on, I was sharing a little bit about I went into entrepreneurship full time last year because in living in the area, I wanted to work, live, and play near my home and not necessarily have to go out and have a long commute. So I'm also interested in learning more about the women in my community and just creating a village, right? Because when women get together, listen, we can solve the world. Just right in our little community, helping, supporting each other's dreams. And sometimes we also need our sister girlfriend to help us get through a season in life that may not um, be great or going as well as we like. And sometimes we get that little bit of advice from a sister girlfriend is just like, oh, I'm ready, let's go. So that's the kind of
Right.
thing Cynthia and I are looking to create at this workshop.
And and women tend to connect better in person. And that was one of the reasons why we decided to do it in person versus online. Now, you don't have to live, okay, so we live in Waldorf. We both live in Waldorf, Charles County. So you do not have to live in Charles County to attend the workshop, but that's where we designed it, because again, we want to connect with our community. We want to connect with the ladies here in the area. But Prince George's is right next door, okay? My friends are all over the state of Maryland, so don't feel like you can't come because we say we're connecting with the women in our community, because community is community. It doesn't matter if you live in Kalamazoo. If you want to connect with me and come to Maryland and be in my space, you can do that, we still can connect and create relationship. Because honestly, some of my best friends today I met online, and they didn't even live here. And now when I come to their state or they come to this state, we get together. We hang out. So that's what this is all about. We want you to build relationship with us. We want you to know that there's somebody here who hears you, and somebody here who sees you, and somebody here who has maybe has some words, some strategies, some tips that can help you as a woman, as a wife, as a mother, as a friend. Because we're going to touch on all of those areas, but we're going to be talking about ourselves. We're going to talk about us. So, Lisa, you were talking about how you and I met, and why we're doing this. And I know I mentioned a little bit. I couldn't remember, I couldn't remember exactly where we met. I knew what organization we met through. But now, what were you saying? How did we meet again? How did we
So I had to
connect?
go to the calendar because
Okay.
you can't remember all things, but we actually met at a small business seminar. And so it was during probably the introduction, I'm assuming, when we were talking about our businesses, and we were just like, okay, I see you. So we were like, let's exchange cards and get together. And I think that was earlier part of the year, but we finally were able to sync up, and as older people say, well, look at God. Look what he did.
Exactly. That's so good, because that's what this workshop is about, right? You and I were at an event. We met, we connected. We've talked so many times since then, but our commonality is our passion for people, and especially for women. And then when we niche it down for wives, that was our commonality. Our commonality was relationships in general. But in our talking, and as we got to know one another, we realized that we were on the same mission and had the same passion. And so we decided to collaborate and create a workshop. So our workshop is called More Than a Business. So, Lisa, tell everybody what we're going to talk about. Just give them a little snippet of what More Than a Business is about.
So, as mothers can probably relate to, we got to do all the things, right? We're working, we're taking care of the babies, we're being a sister, a play cousin, the usher on the usher board, and we will take a seat at the end of the day, and we just feel drained from that day. And so this workshop is to take a moment for ourselves, get a little energy booster, be around other women who are also doing all the things. But as Cynthia said, tips and strategies of maybe how to maybe be a better mother. Because I'm part of mommy groups, especially when my son was younger. We're like, well, does your kid do this? My kid doesn't do that. What do you do when your kid does that? Or what's some new date ideas? Girl, I've been with a homeboy for a minute. What do y'all do on date night? So this is just like an opportunity to talk about those things, as well as see if our perspective or needs in life have changed. We don't really have a lot of time, right, to ourselves to just stop and say, well, who am I? What do I like? Do I like that thing now? Have my core values changed? And so it's just really to have an opportunity to see ourselves as just women, stripped down, no labels, titles, just for a little bit, 90 minutes, and then come together and make the magic happen. So I'm
Right.
excited. I'm
I am
excited.
too. Because another thing is too, this workshop is also because we want to hear from you ladies. In
Mm-hmm.
the workshop, we want to learn what it is that you need, what it is that you want, what it is that you're feeling, what it is that you're thinking, what it is that you're struggling with. We are going to address struggles, like what is it that you may need help with. And so we're going to connect, we're going to share, we're going to support one another, we're going to listen to one another. And we're going to make an impact. For me, I was telling Lisa, my word for this workshop is impact. Like when I do something, I want to make an impact. I want you to walk away with something, one thing that you can implement in your life, in yourself, in your personal self, or in your marriage, in your home, whatever it may be, that will just shift the atmosphere or shift the button just a little bit, whatever that may be. It's going to help shift that. So that's what we're going to be doing, um, to make sure that you get something out of this workshop.
So now I'm a coach. So when I hear that, I hear awareness. So before you can make the shift right, you have to become aware of where you are and what perspective you're coming from, and then be able to make that impact. Because I agree, if you have the awareness and then you're not able to take that one step, we're not talking about big steps, right? Just one small step is the key to transforming and transitioning into the place that you want to be.
Absolutely. So you're right. You're a coach, right? So we can coach each other because we're both coaches. So what can you share with the people, maybe a challenge that you had as a wife? And you kind of shared something a little bit when we were talking before we got on here, something that a challenge that you had as a wife that you actually took action and it shifted things in your life. So can you share that, or whatever it is you want to share that you had as a challenge as a wife that shifted in your life?
Um, I would say for me, not as a wife, I think even my own personality, like I want to do all the things, right? But I think for me, as Wendy Williams say, became a woman of a certain age, I was like, what's important? What's the thing that matters most? And so I mentioned earlier on that I had went into full-time entrepreneurship in October. And one of the many reasons why I left is because that commute was just over the top. And so I wanted to live, work, and play in my county. And in having a child that is going into high school and being a mother of an only son, I was just like, I'll never mother this way again. So to me, it's all about community building, spending more time with my family. And so my challenge was the job kind of got in the way of that, right? And so because I had made good financial decisions along the way, I was able to make that leap. And so I feel like I'm happier for it. So my challenge was just I don't believe in work-life balance. So just work-life integration. So being able to have a better integration of the things that were important to me. And so that's my biggest challenge, having time to do all the things that I want to get done.
It's interesting you were saying that you want to be full-time entrepreneur. So I kind of just got thrown into this role. I would say one of my big challenges as a wife was navigating this entrepreneur life, this entrepreneur world, because I actually started my business because I got laid off from my job.
Mm-hmm.
And I had been looking for a job, but I was busy getting my business started 3 days after I was laid off because of a friend encouraged me to. And so I want to say like 3 months in, I just heard God say, don't go back to a 9 to 5. And so when I shared that with my husband, he was like, huh? He was like, what? But it only took him a couple of days, and he came back. He said, if that's what you feel like you're supposed to be doing, then go for it. And so that was my challenge, though, was telling him that. But when I told him, it didn't take him long to get on board. But then at the same time, I'm home, and he's like, okay, you got a business, where's the money, like how are you going to make money, like what are you doing? And so I felt a little not I guess for lack of a better word, stressed, like
Mm-hmm.
how am I gonna, get my husband really on board with this if I'm not bringing in money? So I started doing different things. I actually started speaking on stages, and so learned that I had to come home and show him the money. Like I had to show him, yeah, babe, I am actually making money in this business. And so he miraculously, um, I don't remember exactly how he got on board with us speaking together, but I think it was when I hired a coach, and he went with me, and he was like, we had done some things together, and they were like, yeah, you two need to stick with that. Y'all need to stick with doing it together. And so now as a wife, my challenge is he's back in the office full time, and I'm trying to figure out how can I do more without him.
Mm-hmm.
And because I was, for a while, I was sitting waiting to bring him back in. And so now I'm trying to figure out, what can I do without him? And so the wives things was like, that's right, that's it. Because when I started this business, that's what I started with was, I have a Facebook group called Wives Tribe that I started in 2014. And that was my initial thing, was doing things for wives to help us be better wives, but also better women, better moms, all of those things that we are, even entrepreneurs. Like I'm a business coach too, I coach all of that. And so as wives, we go through so many different phases and things going on in our lives, and that's what the workshop is about, y'all. That's what it's about. We want to help you to look at all these different, we got so many titles. We have so many titles. And like Lisa said, we don't believe in balancing, because balance means everything is like this. And we know the things in our life, there is like more like this. Yeah, it's more like there's no balancing, but there is strategy, there is strategic
Mm-hmm.
planning, there is um some type of priority to the madness. And so that's what we want to help you with in the workshop. So I
Mm-hmm.
am super super excited about that, because there's not a lot of help out there for there's so much stuff out there to help us, but it's like there's a little piece over here and a little piece over there. And I think that eventually through these workshops, Lisa, we're going to help wives in many different areas. And just so you guys know, this is not a one and done. After this workshop, we're going to have some other things available for you guys,
Yep.
if you're open to it, if you want to be a part. Like, we're not going to do this if you're not going to show up. We're not going to do this if you're not all in. We're not going to do this if you're not going to do the homework. We're not going to do this if you aren't fully committed. Like, we're looking for fully committed women. So let me
Mm-hmm.
just tell you who this is for. This is for wives who are busy, wives who are stay-at-home moms, wives who are professionals, wives who have careers, wives who are entrepreneurs. It's all of that. So if you fit any of those categories, you're married, you fit the bill.
Or who
Okay.
want to be good wives,
Well,
right?
and who wants to be a good wife? Absolutely.
Or your wives to be.
Wives to be are definitely
Mm-hmm.
invited, because guess what? You want to know how to be the right wife before you become a wife. That's
Yes.
what I did. And for me, that's super, super important too. That is like
Mhm.
really important. And Lisa, I shared a little bit about my business, but tell people a little bit about what Lionheart Society is.
So, yes, you mentioned your origin story. So, my origin story is I started, well, the concept of Lionheart Society actually started when my son was born. I found as a new mom, there wasn't a lot of activities out there for him, or I didn't know where the mommy groups were. And so I really started it as getting my girlfriends together and with their husbands and being new parents. And I would invite them out to go to different activities. And we go to dinner and our kids would be running around or in strollers. And so that's really how Lionheart was born, on the concept of heels, hubby, and a high chair, because that was kind of my story and my vlog online. And then it transformed to the Lionheart Society for a couple of reasons, because I believe that the three pillars of marriage, in order to have a strong marriage, is career, because we need money. Let's be clear, you need money to make your world go round. And then a strong marriage, and then parenthood, if you choose to have those three big life transitions. And so it's kind of hard, right, to integrate all of those at one time. So I wanted a place where people could come, because my belief or tagline is, it takes a village to raise a child, but a community to keep a family together. Like, this is to help people be accountable, but also to lift you up when you need it. And so I coach around those three elements of career, marriage, and parenthood. So to be a safe space where people can have those conversations.
All right. So, ladies, y'all can see we're bringing a lot to the table for this workshop. So, again, we want to invite you out on July 31st. Here, is it 30th or the 31st?
31st,
It is the 31st. Okay.
6:30, 8 p.m.
Yep, here in Waldorf, Maryland. It is live in person. We're going to have a nice space. We'll have some really light refreshments. We're not serving you dinner. We're going to have some light refreshments, though. So make sure you eat before you come, or eat afterwards. But we want to invite you out for some fun, for some woosah.
Some kikiing.
Yes, some kikiing, taking a break away from the children's, the children's, and the hubby, taking a little break from him too. Sometimes we need a little break. And we're just going to have some girl time. We're going to have some wife time. How about that? I'm going to use that term, wife time. People always talk about girl time. We're going to have some wife time. So, but yeah, so you can go to either my page or Lisa's page, and you can register. You'll find the link to register, and or you can go to Eventbrite. You can go more than a Mrs.eventbrite.com and get registered. We look forward to seeing you there, y'all. We're going to have a ball, and we're all going to learn something from each other. We're going to all support one another. We're all going to encourage and inspire one another, and we're going to be there for one another. So I'm super excited. Lisa, I guess I will see you on Thursday evening. And any last words you'd like to share?
Come on out. We're excited to share this with you. I'm so excited to be partnering with Cynthia. I have to give you your flowers. You're the first local entrepreneur that I've partnered with.
Yes.
So I'm excited.
Me too. I think we're going to do great things together here in the Charles County area. Charles County, St. Mary's, Prince George's. Come on out. Y'all so close by. Your family too. But anybody in Maryland can come. If you need a safe place to share, and you need some sister friends to connect with, then you come on out, and let's see what we can do together. We're going to make some magic together. How about that part? All right, ladies. So thank you for joining us. And if you need more information, you can inbox us on Facebook with any questions, and we'll be happy to sit down. We'll be happy to talk to you and give you more information. All right. Take care, everybody. Have a great rest of your Sunday. All right, now. Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.